Well,
So that's super exciting as well. I don't know if y'all know, but Art and his family sing for us at our kettles. They sing Christmas songs for us and they raise money that way. So Art's all over the place with the Salvation Army. He has the heart for it. We need more arts out there. This year with COVID has really, really hit us hard. We were able to get lots of grants to help families. We're very worried about 2021. It's looking like we might be 50% down from what I understand in the philanthropic arena. But our needs are going up 155%. So we're really worried, but we're going to get out there and do our best to raise funds. And evictions from the federal government, evictions are going to be able to start happening in January unless something happens. And we're trying to gear up for that, unfortunately. So thank you so much for letting me thank you so much for letting me speak to you about the Salvation Army. Do y'all have any questions? We mostly work around the homeless. We also work with women getting out of trafficking, sexual trafficking, and youth. We have 3 Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Atlanta that are Salvation Army Boys and Girls Clubs. So if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
well, is there by the way, make sure you're muted if you're not speaking because there's car noise and not, I don't know who. So just make sure you're muted. But what's the best place, Debbie, to sign up to ring somewhere? How do you do that?
Going to our volunteer, Salvation Army Atlanta, and you can do /volunteer, and you can sign up to volunteer for kettles. You can volunteer for our Angel Tree Warehouse. We're really lacking in volunteers, and we need them through this week, through Thursday, because we're getting all of the packages out to our cores where we distribute it to the families. So if y'all want to volunteer, we would greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. And Michelle Weston's on with Synovus, and they've been collecting toys, which I'm going to pick up and bring.
Great, thank you.
So Sandy, I saw you message. If anybody wants to donate toys, why don't we just say if you can get them by Synovus on La Vista by Thursday, I'll come swing by and pick them up and take them in. Take them to Salvation Army. And kudos to all you guys because we raised around $400 just through today.
Oh, nice, thank you.
Yeah, so that's cool. So thank y'all very much for that. And yeah, so we did. It was the Salvation Army golf tournament. My dad started 16 years ago. He only got hosted twice before he passed. And we did. We raised near about. So we haven't paid all the. We'll end up after everything's said and done probably 22,000 for both events. But we raised over 100 toys with the tennis, so over 600 toys. Seeing that amount of toys is in one place is awe-inspiring. So thank you. If you don't support Salvation Army, find somebody to support because the nonprofits are getting crushed. So please support. So who is admin's iPhone? I just want to know who you are. You're muted, but I just want to know who you are. So when I call on you later, who's that? Anybody? Okay, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, Art, I'm on my iPhone. I don't know if I'm the one.
All right, it just says admin's iPhone, but yeah, that's probably yours. All right, well, let's jump into 60-second elevator pitches. And we'll start with, and I'll give you specific instructions, but we'll go with Bob, Misty, Al, in that order, and then I'll call it the next 3. But let's talk about kind of the, I guess, year in review. What do you do? And a quick year-end review and how the year's looked and and what we're looking forward to 2021 and try to keep all that 60 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for giving me an opportunity to use my 60 seconds, Art. So, I'll just share that I'm a health and life insurance agent focused on the individual market. So those that are involved in the Affordable Care Act and Medicare. We ended open enrollment for Medicare on the 7th. Today is the last day of open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act. and my year has been very busy. I'll say thanks to Zoom, I can make all my presentations face to face this way, where it used to be we literally had to be sitting in front of somebody. And going forward, I'm just excited about, the opportunity. I do a lot of Medicare. 10,000 people age in every day. So I'm counting on each of you to find at least 1,000 people to refer to me. Thank you, Sandy. My phone is open, and I just hope that we all get vaccinated and this crazy virus finds, a place to live in a planet other than ours.
Fantastic. Misty?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Misty Palmer with Tandem Bank, your newest bank in Tucker. I'm the Business Development Officer, but I guess my actual title is Ambassador of Client Experience because I've been doing a little bit of everything since the pandemic started. 2021, I'm looking forward to getting back to some type of normalcy. I don't think we're ever going to go back to how it was, but I'm really looking forward to that.
All right. And
I'm with Bob, who send me referrals.
all right.
1,000 would be good.
Al Brown?
Yeah, Al Brown with Talbert Insurance. I specialize in commercial insurance for small business, medium-sized business, commercial property, commercial auto. Surprisingly, most of our office has been working from home for a good part of the year, but our sales are just off a little, about 1 or 2% behind what we had last year, even with everything going on. So we're staying busy. We brought everybody back in, but then last week sent everybody back home because of the rising COVID cases, and they'll be right now coming back in about the middle of January.
Fantastic. Debbie, why don't you go, Debbie McMahon, why don't you go again and just kind of tell what your responsibilities are within Salvation Army?
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted, yeah.
Okay. I am a major gifts manager. I raise money for the Salvation Army. I also write grants to foundations and to companies. And I go and speak on behalf of the Salvation Army. I used to.
How long have you been with Salvation Army?
I've been with Salvation Army for 6 years, this past week, actually.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Karen, Rick, and Michelle, go.
Hey, Karen Armstrong. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams. Been an agent for about 20 years. This year has been interesting. You may have heard the real estate market's really booming. But the challenging thing is it's hard to find buyers' houses right now. Really what I need is people who want to sell their houses. And right now I can get top dollar. So if you've ever thought about selling, now is the time to do it. And I definitely have buyers waiting. Do a lot of work in Tucker, Decatur, Lilburn, North Lake. And for the next year, I think we're going to introduce more video into what we do, more education about a lot of different topics. So that's what's coming up for the new year.
Fantastic. Rick?
All right, I'm Rick. My company is Moreland Property Inspections. I perform both residential, commercial, and property inspections. Yeah, kind of a strange year for me to kind of piggyback off of what Karen said. I've been finding almost every week in the last at least 2 months that 2 or 3 people canceled because they lost a contract. I had one for tomorrow that the 3 days of due diligence, so they had to get me in there quick, but they had 15 offers on the property. They lost out. I lose in the end on that one. So yeah, definitely kind of a strange time. Although this is probably one of the busiest years I've had in 4 or 5 years. More early on, but yeah, this time of year, I mean, with all the holidays and things like that, it's always a little bit different anyway. So really good referrals for me are, yeah, maybe somebody wants to sell a house. I can look at the property for a pre-listing inspection, or what I do actually a lot of is periodic inspections on commercial properties. So if somebody owns a triple net commercial property and they don't get the chance to look at the property on a regular basis, which is pretty common for a lot of the investors, I can look at that property to make sure that the tenants are doing what they're supposed to, or they're keeping it up to the standards that the owner expects. So again, Rick from Moreland Property Inspections.
Fantastic. Michelle.
Michelle Weston with Synovus Bank. I'm a retail market manager here in Tucker, also known as a branch manager. Work with consumers, small businesses under 500,000, but this year has been different because I've been a team member that's been at work every day during the pandemic. I have not gotten to work at home like several of my partners have. For next year, I'm looking forward to everybody being back at work and going about business as normal can be after having gone through this.
Donna Payne, Sandy Defoe, Joelle. Welcome, Joelle. Sorry, Donna, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
All right.
Who was that who just went, Art?
Michelle Weston.
Michelle, listen, working from home is not all that. So let me just tell you, you are not missing a thing. So for me, my office is not far from me and I can actually walk to work, but because everything is situated at home, my office, and when we went back from the pandemic, they scrambled the internet. So getting connected is it's a mess, So I find myself waking up, working out, showering, and I'm in the same room all day long. So by 5 o'clock, I'm batty. I want to go to CVS and just anywhere to get out. So I don't want the old normal ever again. Like this, I want to move forward. This newness that we're coming to, I'm excited about it. It has made me think outside of the box. It's made me, I'm Donna Payne. You might see Jeannie up there. Some people call me Jeannie, which is a nickname, Donna Janine Payne. And I am the broker of RE/MAX Ambassadors. So you ever seen someone, I don't know if you've ever seen someone who's hiking in a canyon and then a river comes. So no, they can no longer hike, but they are literally on the walls so that the river can go and while they get out. You ever seen that before? That's a tough spot to be in. I've seen people down in canyons and that happens before. I am a broker who is still selling like an agent. So this upcoming year, I want to expand the team and bring some people in on the leadership side so that we can get more agents into my office. So I've been developing some new programs to help recruit and so we can grow more as a company. So RE/MAX is doing some bigger things, better things than we did before. We're not the old paradigm. So we've had a shift. So that's it for me. I'm looking forward to 2021.
Fantastic. Sandy?
Good morning, everybody. I am that tax person that nobody wants to call because I can resolve your issues. Ever since 2018, no one in business should do their own taxes. I don't know who you use or what you do, but I'm extremely affordable. I've been in business over 40 years. I've never lost an IRS case, and I can help you before year end. Call me if you have your own business because there's so many things you need to do before December 31st. One quick advice, do not make your retirement contribution till after the end of the year, maybe even after you do your extension, because you want to see which is the best benefit, the qualified business income deduction or your retirement plan. So just give me a call. I'll be glad to answer any quick questions for 10 or 15 minutes at no charge. Just because I want to help you, because so many people made mistakes on their tax returns for 18 and 19, and they missed the 20% deduction. So give me a call and I'll be glad to answer your questions.
Fantastic. Joelle, tell us what you do.
Well, first of all, what I need to do is apologize. Everybody, I am so sorry. I hate being late. I have been beating myself up. This is the day that my laptop just decided to not respond to anything I was doing. And I'm sorry. So I apologize. Thank you, Debbie, for handling this with grace. My name is Joelle Miller, and I work for the Salvation Army, and I do all of our special events. So obviously 2020 has been an interesting year for me in learning how to change and alter some of our signature events to become more virtual and safety conscious. Looking forward to next year, I am hopeful and prayerful that some of our opportunities will be back to do in-person gatherings again. I didn't get into the event industry because I really like doing things virtually. I got into the event industry because I love creating that environment and having a full logistical plan and gathering people and all of that fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to hopefully some things just loosening up a little bit now that we have a vaccination that's coming. So I'm looking forward to that in the next year. And I want to say that I'm so grateful to Art and his family for how they support and continue to support the Salvation Army. We always look forward to working with the entire family and your beautiful mom, who I love so much, and her mink coat. She's everything. I love her. I'm actually at our Angel Tree warehouse today, which a lot of the toys that were received through the tennis and the golf tournament have already been packed up, and we got to play Santa yesterday, and today I'll be playing Santa again today, packaging up goodies for families who need our assistance to create a wonderful Christmas.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, Hal Parkinson, then James Massey, then Debbie Burns.
I'm Hal Parkinson. I'm a business attorney. 2020 has been a constructive year for me. And of course, I thrive on having to do difficult things, and everything you're trying to do is a little more difficult because you're having to deal with the COVID aspects of it. We've been fortunate because we haven't had any problems so far, in important part because my daughter, who's a nurse, has been really strict on all of us. I think 2021 is going to be a good year, okay? I think we're gonna have some preliminary kind of things to settle. And interestingly enough, as we all, I think, at this point know, part of the political environment is going to be determined by what the election is for senator in Georgia. You could have a completely different approach to what's going on if the Democrats control Congress. So I don't know if that makes you happy or unhappy, but I think that's a fact. But I think in any event, it's going to be a good year because we have the vaccines now, and that's with an S on the end. And I think we're going to have a significant improvement in the overall health of the country as we go into the first and then in the second quarter of 2021, and that can only be good.
Gotcha. All right, Mr. Massey.
Hey everybody, my name is James Massey. I'm with Massey Moore Home Selling Team. My brokerage that I'm with is with EXP. 2020 has been, honestly, started off kind of shaky and a lot of uncertainty. And then, for those that, I know some other realtors on here as well, know that the market's been extremely hot, especially if you got listings. We've been getting, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 over list price on a lot of properties. And, that's been, great for our sellers, great for that situation. The challenge has always been, within this seller's market, getting listings. So if somebody's actually looking to sell, this is the better time. I mean, we have in our database, we have over 30,000 buyers in waiting that are looking. So a lot of our properties are actually going directly there first. And, we're creating bidding frenzies and getting higher prices for our sellers. That's the first part of it. The other part of it, what I've really been focusing on and really it's just kind of been kind of something dear to my heart is being able to help other real estate agents. I've been helping a lot of agents hit their production goals and achieving some of their goals that they want in life. And, I've been just really kind of showing them some of the systems that we did to be successful, some of the systems that people hired, bigger than us have done to be successful, and helping them to, grow their business. So for me, a good referral would be anybody obviously that's looking to, first sell, then obviously buy. And then, but also an agent that that's looking to kind of build and grow their organization. I mean, we literally went from Art, when we first started our team, it was only like, we had 5 agents that were within us, and within 2 years, as of today, 327. So yeah, so it's been a nice little ride within that time frame. But yeah, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, obviously, and a Happy New Year. So, I mean, I know I'm new too, so I'm not going to dominate a lot of time.
You're good. Hey, all right, Debbie Burns.
Good morning. I'm Debbie Burns with Williams, Turner and Mathis. I'm a commercial sales agent. 2020 has been really interesting for me because I've been working from home. So my focus is trying to find online options for my clients so they can, pull their own ID cards, pull their policies off our website. Another thing is when I go to my clients, when I'm looking over my renewals, I try to help them see where their risk is as far as identity theft, where they need to focus for safety. I think 2021, I'm going to see a lot of, we have some businesses that have gone away. They have not been able to function in this environment. And so in 2021, I see a lot of new businesses coming up where normally when people lose their job, they try to find another way to make a living. I also focus on nonprofits. I insure several women's shelters that are really struggling this year. So at the end of the year, if you're giving, donations to charities, think about them because they all need you. And I wish you all happy holidays.
Fantastic. Thank you. Donna?
Well, to let you know that I'm a little bit jealous of people who work from home and have had the opportunity to learn a new language, do a new hobby, because our industry has been so super busy that really hasn't allowed us to do much more than work. So working from home most of the time, it seems like, the whole day just takes over you. But nonetheless, I am very thankful for this year. And I am also thankful to have maybe made better acquaintances with so many of my friends and relatives over the world. And I am hoping that 2021, we had such high hopes for 2020, and maybe this is something that the world has given us, is the opportunity to reflect and the opportunity to not take things for granted. And know that we're here all together, and this is going to be a much better year, 2021. And I work for art, and I just wish that we could all get together in person sometime next year. Thank you.
Well, and I think we're gonna do that in January. I think we're gonna get together and smoke rise and talk about our goals. I don't like talking about our goals on here, but I am y'all know me. I'm Art. I'm a mortgage guy. Rates still under 3, which has been ridiculous. I just kind of added up. My best year ever was last year. I did 158 transactions and $38 million in volume, and this year I'll be pushing probably within 5 units of 400 units. And over 100 million closed. So it's been great, and just swim with the sharks right now, and just trying to make sure everybody's happy. I'm a people pleaser, and when you get that much volume, you tend to, it's very easy to get very bogged down. So that's kind of been our challenges. So we're looking forward. They say rates are going to stay low. It'll be higher, I think, next year, but still they predict rates to be under 3.5 for the next couple of years. So that will be fantastic. So that's all I got. And we ran 10 minutes late because I want you guys to hear my good buddy, Dan Thurmon. Dan, if you want to pop back on so we can see you, or however you want to do that. And then I don't know if you're going to need to share screens or whatnot. But I just got to tell you, Dan and I have known each other since 2004. God, that seems so long. And we were playing drums and guitar and singing in a worship band together. And he is the most talented individual I have ever met. And I don't know if it's purely because he's that gifted, athletically, or if it's just he's always got the willingness to learn something new and the stick-to-itiveness, if you will. Dan, I don't want to step on your parade, but I mean, he was a juggler. He can ride a unicycle, or a 6-foot unicycle. He's a professional speaker and was the president of the National Speakers Association. Like I said, drummer. He's a wonderful dad, a wonderful husband, and now he can add to it a TikTok influencer. So that's about as good. Well, actually, I could probably talk for the next 30 minutes about you, Dan, but I'm going to turn it over to you and tell us what you want to tell us.
Wow. Thank you, Art. It's always great to be in your company, and you surround yourself with incredible people all the time. And this room today is no exception. Just hearing the positive attitude and outlooks, and all of you have a perspective, I think that's serving you really, really well, and serving your clients and serving your families. And today we're going to help kind of advance that. One of the things Art talked about when he asked me about doing this was about making a pivot. How do you make a positive pivot in your life? And specifically this year, when my business is about being in ballrooms, at hotels, speaking for live audience, when there's no live events, there's no audiences, and being with audiences and connecting. Like, I've done professional speaking now for 26 years. I have been the president of National Speakers Association. But it was about 26 years ago that I made the pivot from being an entertainer with a lot of positive attitude to being a speaker who happens to have a lot of entertainment value, and really focusing not on entertaining audiences so much as serving them, helping them solve problems, uplifting them, bringing ideas and models they can use to implement and make positive changes. I really appreciate what you said about talent. I have been blessed with the talent to learn things, and also, like you said, with the willingness to really commit to learning, and the love of practice, the love of the struggle that helps you get through that. So this year, our pivot looks like something completely different than we've ever done. We went from doing live events in ballrooms to doing live events in a studio. And because my brand is everything that I do has to be at a high level, I'm known as the guy who always does something more, something extra. So we produced a studio to do that. So here's what I thought we would do. Rather than tell you about it, we're going to show it to you. And for about the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to deliver for this audience a keynote, a message that I've designed to really help you and serve you right now. This is a visual experience. So for those of you who are listening on your cell phones, make sure you go back and watch the recording. And what I would suggest to maximize this experience that you do is mute your camera, or not your cameras, you can mute your mics, and then pin my video. If you don't know how to do that, you go up into the corner right side of your screen, and there's 3 dots that will appear, and click those dots and it'll say pin video. That will make my video the biggest video on your screen. And then what I thought we would do is pretend that this is not, the dozen of us or so here in the room, but an audience of thousands, because we've been doing this all over the world from this room here in Snellville. And so we're going to pretend this is a huge audience. And Art, what I'm going to ask you to do is to just say, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dan Thurmon. That will start the show, and then I'll see you soon. Not yet, Art. Wait till I disappear. Okay, right? Next, now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome Dan Thurmon to the stage.
Hello, everyone, everywhere. Dan Thurmon here, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, from our broadcasting studio. And even though we can't be sharing the same space at this moment, I'm so glad that we are sharing this moment and this experience, because this is the Fuse Networking Mastermind. These are the movers and shakers of the world, and you're out there just getting after it for your business and for your life. But let's face it, our lives have been rocked this year in so many ways. The foundations that we took for granted and thought so stable have been revealed to be precarious. And it seems that way going forward. Everything about how we work, how we live, how we educate our kids, how we interact with those in our lives, those close to us, how we entertain ourselves, it's all been shifted. It's all been rocked. You know, I heard the term earlier, I want to just get back to normal. I want to find some sense of normal. But the reality is that there really is no normal. Normal is a word that we use to characterize what used to be, and we think about it in a different way. We think about it as predictable and solid and secure because we know how that turned out. But the moments we're in now are always uncertain, and that will certainly be the case going forward. The question is, how do you position yourself on top of it? Watch close. Now, if you look closely, you'll see I am not balanced. I'm balancing. I'm making constant adjustments and corrections. And after all this work and effort, I haven't really gone anywhere. I'm still in the same place, and I'm just a lot more exhausted. This is how most people deal with uncertainty. When they're faced with a shifting foundation, they say, how do I protect myself and stay safe? And then there's others like you who understand that the uncertainty is the opportunity if you can see it, and that if you can go off balance on purpose. I wrote this book to liberate you from this idea of achieving perfect balance, because balance is not what you get. Balance is what you do. You're constantly making choices, adjustments, corrections, deciding where to place your focus and your energy and your time. Being a better balancer is really the goal, and to be able to lean in and to go off balance on purpose, off balance bias toward what you truly value, what you truly love, and driven by a sense of purpose and mission and meaning. Let's go to class. So the thing about uncertainty is that when you feel uncertain about some things, you can begin to feel uncertain about everything, as if, you know, the future is just unknowable, your past is irrelevant, truth is in question, and you're starting over from the very beginning. When in reality, you always have some sense of certainty, and really all you ever get is some certainty. There is a spectrum of certainty at any moment, including this one. Some things we know for sure, others that are simply unknowable right now. And so the question is, how do we operate from only having some certainty and still have a great sense of purpose and confidence and joy and fulfillment, and be able to access our strengths and our uniqueness and our contributions and bring that into what we do? So here are 3 different strategies which you can use right now in order to make that positive pivot, in order to summon your best resources. The first is to claim your certainties, because there's a lot that you know right now. You know who you are, where you've been, what you've learned. You know what you value in your principles in life. You know what you love, you know who you love, and we certainly know this year that life is very transient. It does not last forever. And what that means is that we have to get really good right now at getting busy doing more of what matters and making the most of our moments, because that's all you ever get is the moments where you have a sense of influence or input. And so we need to claim those certainties and say, yeah, there's a lot I have. And even if I don't know exactly what that is, that's okay. Just believe that everything you've experienced up to now, up to this moment, it all serves you. You don't have to know exactly how it counts. Just know that it does. It counts toward your future success. And then we embrace the unknown. That's the second strategy. Embrace the unknown. It's not uncertain, it's just unknown. It's unknowable. There's no way we can know exactly how this is going to turn out, and that's okay. Imagine if you were reading a book or watching a movie and you couldn't enjoy it unless you knew the ending in advance. You know, unless you know how this is going to turn out. I can't have a good time now. Of course, that's ridiculous. And yet this is how most people live their lives. They say, unless I have a guarantee of success or I know how this is all going to work out, I'm not even going to try. Like, I'm not even going to invest myself in the process. But when we say, no, this is just, it's unknown. And I get to participate in shaping that unknown into a positive way. You can't always control the outcome, but you can definitely influence the outcome. You always have something to share, something to give that will shape what's coming. And then the third strategy, and these are all connected, is to create more certainties. And so what this means is that no matter how this turns out, no matter what happens, I know for sure I'm going to be better as a result, or these things will have happened, and that will put me in a different position. I can improve myself physically. I can improve my skills. I can learn something. I can engage with the test. When we think about the last year, this word takes on a lot of meaning, right? Because we've all been tested. But have you flipped it around? To test yourself. You see, when you see that opportunity and that uncertainty as a way to say, look, there's a challenge in here for me, and I get to choose. I get to decide how I'm going to engage with this test and prescribe this positive trajectory of growth and improvement. Something's going to get better. I'm going to get better, and I'm going to do it because I decide how this serves me right now. Let me tell you a quick story. So this is a very quick illustration right here, perspective. That whole concept about a spectrum of certainty is really about the frame that you choose to look through. Do I want to look at what's knowable and proven and 100% guaranteed, or am I going to look at the possible? This is called Mountain Woman. It's actually a sculpture. On one side, you can see the mountains through this frame, right? A very rustic frame. On this side, you see the woman with a very artistic, decorative frame. Similarly, the way we choose to frame our perspective changes everything about what we can or can't accomplish. And my mother, you see, was an artist. She actually, when I was growing up in Chicago, Illinois, we were in a Polish neighborhood on a small lot, only 28 feet wide, in a little house next to my grandparents' house. And both my grandmother and my mother were both entrepreneurs and artists. Grandma ran a drapery business out of her basement, and my mother painted. This is one of her paintings here. And Mom always told me, Dan, it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is how you do it. And any vocation can be a work of art. It can be an artistic contribution. And I was a hyperactive kid, a lot of energy, and I didn't know what to do with that energy until the day that my mom was exhibiting her artwork at the King Richard's Renaissance Festival. Now, if you don't know, it's like a 16th century English village created in its permanent form with the king and the queen and knights jousting and all of that. And I wandered around and I saw a juggler who was fantastic, watched him all day long. And he called me over after the last show of the day and he said, kid, you've been here all day long. Can I help you out? And he said, oh, do you want to learn? And it was then that I found that channel, because I didn't hear him say, do you want to learn? What I heard was, you can do this. I didn't think that was a possibility for my future. I wasn't hoping for that invitation. But when he said, do you want to learn? He telegraphed to me, now this is inside you too. And I could help you understand how to bring it out. And that's really the power of great influencers. We've all had them in our life, people who activated something within us and gave us that belief that we didn't quite have yet. This is also what you do for others. When you see their strengths, their uniqueness, and don't presume that they understand it as well as you observe it. Help them understand how great they are, because we're all so precariously confident about what's coming. And we take our strengths and uniqueness for granted. So we diminish our value. It's up to you to recalibrate the value of those around you and give that back to them. So, and it's a great test. Juggling is an amazing test because there's always more. In fact, the moment I got the hang of juggling 3, I wanted to learn how to juggle 4. I was like, how do I know how to do this? And so I said, look, I'm going to get another ball. Let me go back in the stage here. So I got the 4th ball. And the thing about juggling is I try to just put it in the pattern to go faster than before and just make it work. It didn't work because the balls hit each other and collided. You have to learn a different pattern. A pattern, that's the term that jugglers use to refer to the relationship of the objects and how they support each other. But it's also what we do in life. Odd numbers cross your body. Even numbers, you hold it longer, it goes back to the same side. They sort of look like they're crossing, but they're not. It's really good information, right? And once my mentor explained that to me, I went back and I tried it again. And this time, it still didn't work because I hadn't practiced enough. I hadn't dropped enough. I hadn't picked up the drops to confirm it was like totally important to me and that I was serious about learning. And it's that intentional struggle, like Hal said, that makes you better. It just makes you better on the other side. As I was practicing my 4-ball juggling, as I was working on all those moves, but also trying to struggle just to get it, I started to notice my 3-ball juggling getting very, very good. And the truth is, I never really got the hang of 4 until I tried 5. If you think what you're doing now is difficult, it's time to try something harder. And that's the gift of 2020. We've all been trying things that are so much harder. And because of that, you've gained new skills and abilities and level of competence and capacity that you would have never had otherwise. Those gifts, some of which we know now, will continue to be revealed going forward in 2021. It's an incredibly exciting time to be alive. And this period of time, I think we're all going to look back on, yes, heartbroken in some ways, devastated in others, but really overall quite grateful for how this tested us and gave us an opportunity to test ourselves. When you add more to what you're already doing, you need to get very specific about what your goal is, your targets, and look up there and keep looking up, because juggling's not about making great catches. It's about making perfect throws. And if your throws are accurate and consistent, the catches just happen. So I'm looking up and I'm identifying these targets up here, right? And I say, is what I'm doing down below delivering the results I expected? And if not, how do I shape those throws and efforts to make it happen? A lot of people give up on the process. A lot of people give up on the opportunity to really take time to let that pattern develop for them. Second thing is that when we add more, we need to learn to slow down and find the space between the throws and the catches. You can't do it all at once. If I get it all up in the air at once, it all comes down at once and overwhelms me. And I don't care how busy your life is. It's still all about the moments between what you were doing and what you're doing now, what you hear and how you choose to respond. And those spaces between the thoughts, between all of the input, between the throws and catches is what enables you to handle just one thing at a time. And as you look up here, you can begin to see that pattern and how it develops. In fact, let me show it to you a little more clearly. All right, now watch the red one as it arcs back and forth, creating that infinite loop, crossing through the center, arcing at the tops and the bottoms. That infinite loop is what enables us to manage more complexity. And while patterns will change in our lives, it is still all in your hands. So I wanted you to understand that pattern as we begin to kind of take this toward the finish line. I want you to see this pattern and the analogy of how that works for you in your life. because one of the things we all have to learn from and grow from is the fact that we have control over 5 different spheres of influence: your work, your relationships, your health, your spirit, and your passions or personal interests. And if you think of these as 5 different projects, you're always going to feel overwhelmed, because they're not. They're all part of one project, your life, your one life, and they are connected. This is called a lifeline between work and relationships, presenting the question, how are they connected? You work to take care of your loved ones, you go back, you get re-energized, you bring that back to your job, and yet it is stretched, it's tested because of demands in one or both areas. By strengthening the lifeline, the connection, the purpose between the two, you can withstand those moments with greater success. So helping those you love understand your work. How about work and health? Does your job support your desire to be healthy, or does your job challenge your health in some ways? And if so, how do you bring that into better alignment? Because it's not sustainable right now. Are we practicing our spiritual beliefs and fueling our spirit in our professional efforts, pursuing our passions and learning about the passions of others that we work with and for? Are we in relationships that support our desires to be healthy and to grow spiritually? You see, it's all connected. Sharing interests with those you love, becoming interested in their passions, which is how we really deepen a relationship. And so if we think about our life this way, not by overcrowding and just going faster and racing and putting more in the mix, but we slow down, we look up and we say, no, how does it fit together? What's in alignment? What's out of alignment? And how can I view these aspects of you, of me, as not mutually exclusive, but integrally connected so that they support and strengthen each other? This is also the way that you unlock more of your capacity to learn, to do, and to become. And you bring your uniqueness to life. You know, I remember when I was a kid, my teachers told me, you know, he's not reaching his full potential. There was a parental conversation where they shared that piece of advice or reality. And I remember thinking, that's ridiculous. Why would I reach my full potential in 8th grade, right? But the truth is you never do, because your potential is infinite. It's limitless. And never in human history has somebody tried to learn a new idea and run out of disk space, right? Now we run out of interest, we run out of willingness, but the more you learn, the more you can learn. The more you create, the more you can create. The more you move, the more you can move. And the more you love, the deeper your capacity for love and caring. And if you limit yourself to what's comfortable, you deny yourself what's possible. If you limit yourself to what's comfortable, you deny yourself, that which you want, which is just on the other side of some purposeful struggle. And so when we see that path for the next pivot, we know what matters to us in our life. We say, this is congruent with what we want. And we're going to, you know what, it requires me to lean in, but I don't know if I want to because it's uncomfortable. You're limiting you. And we need to recognize that that's a signal to take it to the next level, even if it may scare you, because it's not everything at once. It's still just one thing at a time. Look up, get specific, handle each challenge uniquely, and then let go to make it happen. Learning to let go of the thing that's already out of your hand will enable you to handle the next challenge with greater purpose. And then you'll begin to see how there's space between the throws and catches. You can take advantage of even those moments to create something new and unexpected at a whole new level. You never really know where the next challenge is going to come from. Okay, tell you what, I'll take on this challenge. I'll test myself while you watch this short video. The holidays, are you feeling stretched and overwhelmed, or truly enjoying the connections between what matters most? This week, we're off balance, on purpose, strengthening lifelines. I am an advocate for strengthening your lifelines, the vital connections between your 5 spheres of influence: work, relationships, health, spirit, and passions. And there aren't many people I know who do this better than my friend Art Wood. For more than 12 years, Art and I played together in our church band, connecting lifelines of friendship, faith, and love of music. And today, Art hosts a richly connected holiday tradition. We're at Smoke Rise Golf Club, where Art hosts an annual event for friends and business associates of all walks of life for multiplied purpose: shared love of golf, donations to the Salvation Army, and in memory of his father, Art Wood Sr. Art's dad started this tradition, and Art joyfully keeps it alive and well to honor his memory, their shared love of the game and the cause, and a deeply held faith in God and in service to others.
There were 4 things that Dad was passionate about. First, his faith and his family. And he lived that every day. But then he took his next 2 things, which was Salvation Army and giving back, and golf, and was able to combine that all. And now if you look at 16 years later, all 4 of them are combined. Here we are with hundreds of thousands of dollars raised and thousands of toys.
Obviously, this is purposeful fun, and the need for donations this year is truly critical, but it doesn't happen easily. In fact, this takes enormous effort, especially with precautions for COVID. But every task, invitation, and donation request is fueled by meaningful purpose. The effort expended is an expression of love and an affirmation of what is truly valued. So how can you strengthen your holiday lifelines? Lean deeply into the meaning of your traditions and the memories that you choose to create and elevate. Connect your passions to deeper purpose, your friends and family to your faith, and your work and effort to joyful meaning. And the result will be a personal expression of what you truly value, and you may be surprised to see it take on a life all its own. Until next week, stay off balance, on purpose. Art, you're a master of connecting lifelines, and it's been such a joy to know you all these years, and to really to struggle with you, to go through that journey together. Look, my friends, I wish I had a crystal ball and I could look into it and tell you exactly how this was going to all turn out. Maybe I can. Hold on, let me take a look. No, as I look into the future, I see that it's shifting, it's changing. It is absolutely fluid. But one thing I do know for certain about your future is the most essential part about your future is you. And anything you can do right now to improve yourself will pay off that. So if this is meaningful to you, test yourself in one of these or all of these 3 ways this year, before the end of the year. Number 1, try something harder. If you think what you're doing now is difficult, try the next hardest thing. And I promise you, your abilities will stretch as you do. Secondly, say something kinder. Never underestimate the power of your words and your influence. And in a world where negativity is the norm and noise is deafening, your words of kindness and care and validation for someone else's presence and worth is just so meaningful and immeasurable. Say something kinder. And third, give something greater. If you want to participate in the flow of abundance, go first, put yourself out there, give of your resources, give of a donation to the Salvation Army, give of your time, give of your personal presence to those in your life. And you'll learn very quickly, it's impossible to give more than you receive. And if you do those 3 things, if you try something harder, say something kinder, and give something greater, you will become so much more. So we've got about 18 minutes left. Art, why don't you unmute your mic? Everyone, you can come back on, unmute your mics. And I want to make sure that I can answer whatever questions you have, Art. Describe to you any anything you want to know about this studio or about the realities of our business, or help you unpack some of these ideas relative to your life and your business. This is the time to ask. So if it's on your mind or on your heart, make sure we hear it. Art, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I would love for you, I think it's really cool is what your daughter has done and what you have, kind of how you've pivoted, not with just studio, but what your daughter's done and how y'all have integrated in that and what you're trying next. I think that would be interesting to hear.
So my daughter is Maggie Thurmon, and she is an 18-year-old freshman in college at Kennesaw State University. Her senior year, and she's also very talented. She sings, she dances, she acts, she plays instruments. And because everyone in our family knows how to juggle in a unicycle, so does she. But about a year ago, a little over a year ago, she started posting to TikTok, and within a very short while, hit some momentum with that. And the real big kicker came when we started collaborating together, she and I danced with her to this song, and it was just fun and goofy. But what came across to the audience was our relationship, this father-daughter connection, and it blew up. Maggie now has over 3.3 million TikTok followers for both the content we do together as well as her own things. I have about 500,000. I have exactly 500,000 on my TikTok account. And so it's crazy to have an audience like that of mostly younger folks in terms of how do we have a different type of influence, a different type of impression. And she's grown that into a very lucrative business. She's actually, she gets paid quite regularly to produce ads. She has agents in Los Angeles who are always working on her behalf. In fact, helping her pursue her interests in acting and many other things as well. It's a very exciting time for her. And for us together, we're going to be producing a podcast. And in January, they're going to pitch that podcast to several different networks to try to land the best arrangement and the best partners to really launch it in a big way. But it's going to be a father-daughter conversational podcast about life.
That's awesome. And I think that's one of the things that even when you talk about pivoting and always being open to the opportunities. I thought that was anybody else. Look, Dan and I talk all the time, and I know him, he and his family very well, but Benda's here. Anything y'all want to contribute, anything you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll just share something. Dan, Art said that today would be a rewarding experience, and I have to say it truly is. It's an uplifting experience. This idea of the production was great, but more importantly was the message. The reaching, the striving. And I tell you, I have to think, you in front of elementary school children would be such a positive experience. Teaching these kids not to accept, to hope and to reach. I wish I had the ability to get you into the school system, because that's where you should be. You have a fantastic message.
What's interesting is thank you, Bob. That really means a lot to me. And, we've worked hard. My whole life is really about crafting the nuances of that message, because it very much is a life philosophy and a way of being for me. And that's why I think it's impacting others in different ways. I never knew how to scale the whole school program thing, because previously I was booking dates on my calendar, flying around the country, going to bigger events, and doing corporate functions. And you can't block a date as easily, certainly at the same rate or whatnot. It just was problematic. With virtual, it's a whole different deal. In fact, I have an offer right now where it's a buy one, give one before the end of the year for our clients who hire us. They can buy Dan to come do a kickoff for their conference or for their company to say, hey, 2021, this is our goal and objective. And then give one to a school, give one to a nonprofit, give one to frontline workers, right? And so that's been a very rewarding thing to partner with clients in that way. And then I thought about this recently. The TikTok audience is very much a way to scale my impact to young people, not just in a school, but in schools all over the world. It's an enormous responsibility, but I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that's great.
So I want to present something to you guys. So the video that I did about the Salvation Army last week is part of a series that I do every Tuesday. We launched one today, a different video. And if you want to get this, here's what you do. You just text the word lifelines with no space to that number 44222 from your cell phone. So if you wanted to do that, you'll get a reply and then you'll be able to sign up for the email and you'll get it every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. It's the only thing I send you. So it's just a free outreach to the world to give positive content to help encourage folks. And you can share it with others in your life, your family, your coworkers, absolutely free. So that would be a great thing to do. Other questions?
So the arts video, would we still be able to get that, or just going on for future?
Arts video is archived in my, well, it's archived on my site. It's also on my YouTube channel. And so that YouTube channel is available to anyone in the world. But if you wanted to embed that onto your site or something like that, I have no problem with that.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm glad it got to be Art's video when I was in it all of 15 seconds. That was Dan's video.
No, it was a great day.
It helped us. It was good. Go, so good.
It's all right.
We still need your message. It was so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you know, it was really neat when we did that golf tournament. Dan asked me. We didn't make it on there, but how is it necessarily a legacy to what you've done? And one of the things that I mentioned was the fact that my almost 12-year-old son stayed on the same hole that I was on last year and hit balls with us, and then started talking about it weeks ahead of time that he couldn't wait to do it again. So I was like, that was really neat. And I'll tell you one other story I always like to share about Dan, and I may embellish a little bit, but I think we all know, or at least I know a bunch of motivational speakers. I don't know any better than Dan, but I don't think a lot of times maybe they live the message that they preach. It's a great show, but I've known Dan for a long, long time, and it's in every breath he breathes. It breathes, and in fact, when it talks about faith of doing something new. And Dan, you tell the story better than I do, but I like to tell it anyway. He asked his agent to say, "Hey, I'm tired of juggling. I got this gift. I want to try something different. Book me on speaking gigs." And they wouldn't. They just kept booking. And so what does he do? Normally he'd be like, "All right, whatever, fine, I'll just juggle." He fired his agent. He says, "I can do this myself," and went out and said, and just completely shifted. And Dan, don't ruin the story if I didn't get it completely right.
Well, it's almost right, but the real takeaway was I had to stop taking the offers. I had to start saying no to what was coming in, to everything that was coming in. I had to start saying no, because it wasn't just one agent. I worked through a lot of different agencies. I booked directly with clients, and I was very successful and known for one thing. But I knew my future was in a different direction. And I thought that if I said no to this, that the same people would hire me to be a speaker and support my new thing. Well, that didn't happen either. What happened was when I said no to those opportunities, it created space in my life, and new people started showing up with different opportunities who were in that world of booking speakers and clients who had conversations. And so it's a lot of times it's about the faith piece is about creating that space for things to happen. Speaking of space, I want to give you guys a quick zip around the space to show you exactly what this is. So Shay's going to stand up, and if we could pick up camera 1. So there's 3 different areas, and you experience them all. If you zoom out a little bit, Shay. So this is the action room. You can see the rope coming down from the ceiling a little bit. And then if you pan over to your right, this is me back in the library, which is back here in this set right here. Okay, good. And then, so this is the corner. This is the other corner. And then this room over here is what we call the classroom. And we've got 2 cameras that are also very strategically purposed. One for when I'm looking, when I establish myself and I want to connect with the audience, in one way, and one when I'm writing and I want to get that more intimate look the other way. Anytime you're on camera, my friends, on a Zoom call, whatever, it's the most bizarre thing in the world, but because it's counterintuitive. We've been told all our lives to read somebody's body language. You want to make eye contact. So I'm looking at your picture and I'm trying to make eye contact with your picture, which is breaking eye contact completely and trying to read your body language. I'm losing your attention because I'm looking at a monitor that's down here. The way to connect with an audience is to look directly into the lens of the camera. So I begin to see exactly where you are and who you are. I don't see you at all, but I give you the opportunity to look into my eyes. And when I give you the opportunity to look in my eyes, we feel connected in a much deeper way. You know, you've been told, always look someone in the eyes when you talk to them, which is why we look at the screen. But you've also been told, don't trust somebody who doesn't look in your eyes when they talk to you. And if you're talking to your clients or your friends or your family, the way to do that is to ignore their eyes down here and to look right in that lens and just pour in your intention of how much you care about them, right? So that's a little tip for you. I also want to show you, I'm going to pan this camera to the studio and to this board back here. Boom. And there is Sheila and Stephanie. And that's our equipment right here. All right. So this is the whole production. It looks like it's something fun I'm just doing myself, but no way. This is my beautiful wife, Sheila Shea, who is our producer of the event, and Stephanie Craig, who's the technical director. And Stephanie manages also, she's also the audio one. She's the main audio person. So she's listening to my mic and taking care of that. She's controlling the camera switching. There's 3 computers here, plus screens all over the place, and 5 different cameras on these 3 different sets. Shay, fortunately, comes from a background in video and production. And so she was able to help design this whole experience. It did not come together easily, but it came together quickly. We decided to make this pivot in late March, and within a month, we were up and running.
Hey, Sheila.
Yeah.
Anything else before we say goodbye? We got 7 official minutes, but we don't have to go all the way. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah. I was at the Bristol Renaissance Fair and I think I saw you.
Nice. Well, I haven't been there since 1979. Oh no, it's 81.
Neither have I.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. Well, I thought it was really cool too. Somebody commented on Facebook, like, yeah, I follow Dan, and and Dan, when we were at the golf course the other day, he's like, he says, yeah, it's really weird. He says, I'm getting recognized more for the TikTok right now, and all over the country. It's like, oh, I see you on TikTok. And so look him up. I mean, it's inspiring.
Yeah, and it's at Maggie Thurmon, MAGGIE is her handle. Stephanie will put it in the chat, and mine is Maggie's Dad 123.
Awesome. If there's nobody else, Dan, I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate you, not just for this, but for being you and for being my friend. And I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, and go to Salvation Army's website, go ring the kettle, go ring the bell, and because they really have a lot of folks that are concerned about that. We will be ringing it at Kroger and Lilburn Stone Mountain right there, Rock Bridge, on the 23rd through from 10 to 12. And we honestly sing the entire time. Now, I guess we'll probably sing with mask on, even though we'll be outside. The entire time, and it is the #1 favorite thing that I do all year long, because you watch folks that you feel like should be dropping $100 of bills in there, they walk right past you, and then the folks that you don't think they have 2 pennies to rub together, they're the ones that drop a $20 bill in there. It is something that you just need to experience once in your life. So we will see you again. We're going to do in person in January. I hope everybody stays safe. We'll talk about goals, why they're important, what our goals are going to be for the next 6 months. But yeah, kind of like Dan says, go be off balance on purpose. Thank you, Dan. See you, everybody.